Going on? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today we have an interesting topic. Ooh, buddy. Diddy is having more problems, more money, more problems. It has really compounded for this poor guy. He's really getting his butt kicked. It sounds like chickens are coming home to roost, apparently, with yet another lawsuit or two or three that's been hitting him based on things that he allegedly did in the past. And to talk about some of this, I brought in my favorite entertainment expert, Miss Tiara KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood. How you doing today, T?
I'm good. Hello, everyone.
Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So, everybody in the chat, do me a favor. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a quick yes if you can hear me. What's up? I see Deshaun Farad. I ain't seen you in a while, brother. So good to see you. Deshaun is a great journalist, very dedicated to what he does, and very happy to see you in the chat. And Jam Crypto and All Black Man and or a Black Man, sorry, Gold Mine Advantage, Skylar Unity. Professor Moore, so good to see all of you, and thank you all for giving us that feedback. And don't forget, this podcast is on Spotify and Apple, so go look up my name on Spotify and Apple. You'll find me there. All right, so Diddy apparently has been hit with this lawsuit. I'm gonna read a couple of details, and then Tierra, I'm gonna pass the ball back to you. And it's kind of nasty. So if you got your kids, you cover cover your ears of your chillums. Don't let your
Hide
chillum
your
kiddies.
kids.
Yeah,
Hide
because
your wife.
this ain't for the babies. It says here that in NBC News, Sean Diddy Combs accused of sexual harassment and assault by a producer on his latest album. Rodney Lil Rod Jones says his life has been detrimentally impacted since he worked with Combs. Sean Diddy Combs was sued Monday in federal court by a producer on his most recent album who accuses the music mogul of sexually harassing, drugging, and threatening him for more than a year. Or sorry, yeah, said him over more than a year. Sorry about that. The producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, so Lil Rod is filing the suit, says in the lawsuit that he lived and traveled with Combs from September 2022 to November 2023, during which he recorded hours of video and audio of Combs, his staff, and others engaging in serious illegal activity. Among the allegations is that Combs forced Jones to procure sex workers and pressured him to engage in unwelcome sex acts with them and others, and that Combs gave laced alcohol beverages to people who attended parties at his house. The lawsuit includes what it says are screenshots from gatherings hosted at Combs' homes that include underage girls and sex workers, some of whom were provided drinks that have been laced with drugs at Combs' direction. Let's take a breather real quick. Tierra, what say you?
I say that somebody is going to jail. I say he's either going to go broke. I mean, everybody at this point is asking for 30, 40, 50 million dollars. There's only many payouts that you can pay before you were a broke. And I'm sure you're paying lawyers to keep, there's all these fees happening just to keep clear of going to court. Because if you go to court, he's pulling out all of that video, all those screenshots, just everything. It's gonna go crazy. So I just think that it's looking real bad for Diddy. It's looking really bad. Yeah.
I feel like for Diddy, it just seems like his chickens really are coming home to roost. That all those years of being the bad boy, bragging about being the bad boy, establishing the brand as the bad boy.
Yeah.
That's not going to work out for you real well in court when a jury's like, "Oh, well, you're the bad boy." Well, of course you did this. You were proud to be a bad boy, right? That's how you branded yourself. And this is the reckoning that I knew was always coming to hip hop. When the whole Me Too movement started, I said, "Ooh, when they get around to the rappers, it's going to get messy." Because hip hop has always been a space where people believe that anything goes.
Yeah.
And so to me, I do what should these lawsuits be 20-30 million dollars? I don't know. Also, should there be a burden of proof? I think that there should be, but I think that what Diddy's dealing with is a lot of accusations that are popping out of nowhere. I'm gonna read more of this to you guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Thumbs up, everybody. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. The lawsuit includes what it says are screenshots from gatherings. Okay, I mentioned that. The suit filed in U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York also names Combs' adult son, Justin. So his son's getting sued. His chief of staff, Christina Coram, Universal Music Group CEO, Sir Lucian Grange. So even Sir Lucian been bought up in the ratchetness. And former Motown Records CEO Ethiopia Habdamariam as defendants. Jones says in the lawsuit that Grange, Hamdamariam, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group effectively worked together with Combs as a RICO enterprise. So they're claiming this is a RICO, like organized crime, as a RICO enterprise that failed to adequately monitor, warn, or supervise the actions of Combs, his son, and his chief of staff. A RICO enterprise is any individuals or groups that act together to violate the Racketeer Influencing Corrupt Organizations Act. Damn, so they're trying to put a RICO charge on him for this. That's new. I haven't seen any cases like that with Diddy, have you?
No, I have not.
Yeah, RICO charges are scary. That's serious business. That's so it's really almost like they're just dragging any and everybody into the lawsuit, and it looks like they're asking for lots of money. And also, I don't know if you knew this or not, T, but the other day, this isn't the only lawsuit to hit Diddy this week. The Daily Beast on February 21st, which is 5 days ago, published an article where they said in new court documents filed this week, attorneys for rapper and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs denied claims they made in a lawsuit last year that Combs gang raped a 17-year-old girl. Combs never participated in, witnessed, or was or is presently aware of any misconduct, sexual or otherwise, relating to plaintiff in any circumstance whatsoever. That's his legal response. The allegations against Combs are entirely fictional, the response says, and denies causing any damage to the plaintiff. The original lawsuit, which was the fourth sexual assault suit filed against Combs last year, accuses the mogul of gang raping a 17-year-old high school student in 2003. The suit includes photos of the plaintiff posing with Combs, but his attorneys argued that the photos could have been doctored or taken out of context. So let's jump in on this, T. In the age of AI and Photoshop's been around 20 years.
Yeah.
What is there? If we're gonna so quickly believe in the accuser in the case like this, does Diddy have any space to say, well, my word is just as good as theirs? I mean, could that be true? That maybe somebody took a picture with him and said, oh yeah, by the way, he also raped me between the pictures. There's no evidence, but what do you think about that?
I think it's definitely plausible. The hard thing is because Diddy has such a dark past. He has paid off Cassie. He's not admitted any guilt, but definitely tried to make this thing go away. Everyone kind of is echoing the same accusations. So it's just like, unfortunately, the audience or, the public is like, he did that shit. Like every time somebody else comes out and they say certain things, it's like, this is way too detailed. Why would they make up these small details? He must have did it, So it's just hard to, when you have the kind of history you have and you've had so much sex with so many people and so many experiences going back to 1990, it makes it very hard to decipher what's real and what's not. And then, like you said, in those spaces where everything goes, there's these rooms where people are doing drugs and having sex and orgies and all these things. You don't know what you did. You might have. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to decipher. You don't know if there's as many drugs as they say are around Diddy and he's always medicating. How do you really know what you did last night if it was mad real? You know what I mean? So it's just hard to answer your question. It is hard. I think he should have a leg to stand on, but unfortunately his past is so dark that I don't think he will have one. Nobody believes him.
Well, everybody, by the way, you're listening to Tierra KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood, and I want to give everybody your website before I forget. Her website is realvirtual.net. And just right before you came in, I was talking to Rashad Washington, who runs a roofing business, and we were talking about the importance of a side hustle and how in this economy, one income isn't enough anymore. And so that side hustle can make the difference between being able to save and not saving, being able to get a nicer place, or the difference between struggle and being comfortable. And so reach out to realvirtual.net because they can help you figure out that side hustle. They can help you get that business off the ground. We're all about that Black-owned business. So go ahead and get it done. Reach out. The URL is realvirtual.net, REEL virtual.net. They'll sit and talk to you for free and help you figure it out. So don't be scared. Take action. Don't be scared. Take action. You got to do this. And by the way, also, everybody should be an investor. If you're not, investing, or you don't know about things like stock options, you guys know we're having the Stock Options Summit in LA. We're doing a Black Stock Options Summit in LA, April 19th. And
Hey.
Tierra is actually going to be there. I hope. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I can't wait to see you there, T. And so if you all want to get information when we release the passes, it's only going to be a little more than 100 people. We're keeping the group very deliberately small, so we will sell out very, very quickly. So if you want to be notified, just text the word money to 87948. Text money to 87948. And I'll also send you a training called How to Make Money Without Working. So, all right, so let's talk about this Diddy lawsuit. So, you brought up some interesting points with the suit. So in this lawsuit, it's being alleged that Diddy is being accused of some ugly things. So there's been conversations about a lot of drugs being used, maybe people being drugged against their will. There's a lot of trafficking conversation leading to these RICO charges, which are very, very serious, because a lot of these RICO charges, especially in a state like New York, can get you 20, 30, 40, 50 years in prison. Not to mention the legal liability of the amount of money that these suits are for. And there are several. There are many, many, many suits. Diddy's fighting a lot of battles on a lot of fronts. He's got 30 years of history that he has to account for, which is going to be really difficult to account for in the court of law. And so with that being said, one of the things that I would think about is this. In the mornings, I don't know if you know, T, we do financial consciousness training every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And when we do financial consciousness training, what I explain to people is that there are so many things that affect your economics that you think have nothing to do with money. Like, so for example, in this case, the consciousness issue that I want people to observe here with Diddy is, yes, Diddy's a billionaire. Yes, Diddy made all his bad boy money, but what's it for now? What's it for if you're high and drunk all the time and you're in these situations where you're not conscious enough to even remember what you did? And that becomes the dilemma. I faced that a lot when I was at Syracuse University, because Syracuse was known for producing alcoholics. The kids would get drunk every weekend and they would use drugs that I didn't even know existed. I mean, it was crazy. Like, they'll run up in the hood and they'll send everybody to jail for drugs, but they would never raid a college campus. But if they had raided that campus, half them kids would be in jail. And I remember that. So what would happen is, everybody would get together, everybody gets high, everybody gets drunk, nobody's taking accountability, and then boom, somebody comes out and makes a rape accusation. And so then what happens is, all the people who went to bed at 10 o'clock, have to sit there and try to figure out who did what. So this person is saying, yeah, this happened to me, that happened to me, but I kind of don't remember because I was so drunk that I don't know where I was and where I was at. Right. Yep. And then, then somebody else is like, yeah, it might have happened, it might not, but I don't remember anything because I was getting high and drunk too. So I shouldn't have, if she's not responsible for what she did when she was drunk, I'm not responsible either. Right. That's kind of the mindset some people have. And I remember thinking about how many problems like this could be avoided. How many costly problems, because I saw young people losing everything, getting kicked out of school, getting sent to prison. How many of these problems could be avoided if we had a different perspective on drugs and alcohol? If you look at what's happening to Wendy Williams and what drugs and alcohol did to her. And I remember Wendy was fighting with Whitney Houston at one point, two iconic women who both went down because of drugs. Why in the fuck do we as Black people still think that getting high and drunk every weekend is okay? I don't think that there's anything good about it. Nothing good comes out of that, right? So like with Diddy, again, I'm not judging. I'm not trying to be holier than thou, but literally, it just sounds like these parties were chaos. Is that the impression you're getting?
Yeah, they said that they feel very dangerous, like anything goes. Yeah, yes, and people went because obviously they wanted to be connected to the prestige of it, but there were some celebrities like Cat Williams and some people that knew what was going on. It was like, I had to tell Diddy no.
You got to tell him no.
So there's that. Some people knew and they just weren't for the bullshit, but unfortunately other people wanted to be connected. And so, yeah, like that's what happens.
Well, what happens is, I think that what makes a lot of our people vulnerable to this kind of thing is that everybody wants to get next to a Diddy. Everybody, I met a young lady that worked for me at one point, and I remember she told me she went to college and she said, I didn't study, my grades were bad. I said, why didn't you study? She said, because I knew that I would only be there for a year and I would meet Diddy or Jay-Z and they would hire me and I would drop out of school anyway. I knew that was her plan for her life.
Yep.
And it did, of course it didn't work out. I think she said she met Jay-Z in the club, handed him her resume in a club, he looked at it, gave it to somebody else, and she never heard from anybody, right? Because so many of our kids grow up with these stupid little pipe dreams in the hood, like, I'm going to be the one guy, I'm going to meet Diddy, I'm going to meet Jay-Z, and my life is going to be wonderful. So number one, it doesn't happen for 99.9% of them. But then number two, when it does happen, you find out that it's some Wizard of Oz type bullshit. It's like everything that glittered ain't gold. You really thought you were going into this wonderful life. No, this man, you're literally like woman number 3,447 that has approached him that week. And he's like, you know what? If I put my Johnson in this lady or in this dude or whatever these people are into, nobody's gonna say anything because I'm Diddy. And when I get done with you, there's somebody else. There's always some other person that is caught up in this fantasy of what it's like to be next to me. And I think that this is something that kids have to kind of be trained on and prepared for, because I've been up close to these famous people. I don't know Diddy. I've never been around Diddy like that, but I know somebody who was around Diddy a lot. And you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say names because I ain't trying to get into all that.
My mentor you worked for Diddy.
So you know what I'm talking about. You know, right? So you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, you've been around, right? You know, So, and I remember him saying to me, he said, man, I said, so what's it like hanging out in the Diddy space? He said, man, I don't know what they got going on over there, but that's some dark shit. That's dark. He said that's some dark shit. And that's all. And the look in his face told me a lot about just the fact that if you are a person that goes through life thinking that your goal should be to get next to anybody with money, then you're a damn fool. You're going to pay for that, because a lot of people have money who are just not good people. And I'm not saying that Diddy's not a good person. I don't know him like that. But I am saying, you know, it sounds to me like a lot of these people were starstruck. What do you think?
That is correct. Listen, it'll be 20 years of me working in Hollywood next year. And it's been an experience. I've worked with a lot of celebrities, and all of the dreams and thoughts that I had about getting next to them and working with them and alongside of them, you know, like you said, that enamor quickly fades when you actually get to know them, and they're kind of sexist and they're misogynistic, and you're like, they're arrogant and they're mean and they are power stricken, and you're like, they're peon, and they talk to you any kind of way, and they say things that hurt your self-esteem, but you're standing there like, I just want this opportunity, but you feel like shit every day working with those people. And I'm not saying it's every celebrity, but they are really weird, y'all. Like, it's not it. People, you know, sometimes people ask me like, oh, who is your celebrity crush? And I'd be like, nobody, not one person. Not nobody. Like, I don't look at nobody and be like, he's so fine. He's so fine. I just don't look at nobody like that. So I'm just saying that to say that, like, it's all, like you said, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, but it's just really dark. And before you know it, you're into some dark shit. You're looking around like, okay, I thought we were here to make movies, but everybody's clothes are off. Okay, like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? You know? So I just think that, you know, like you said, everything that glitters ain't gold. And my mentor that worked with Diddy, and I won't say her name, but, you know, she was just like, you know, he abused his power a lot. He is known for having tantrums. She was like, sometimes I felt like we would be, you know, we would be in a room and be at a meeting and he would be up on the table, you know, and it's almost like I liken it to how you said, you know, you talked about working with Kanye, if I can say that, and like, just like the instability there, like, there's just that, you know, when you get high and drink all night and then try to function as an adult and you're erratic and you're kind of crazy all day, it's a thing. Like, you can't really keep your shit together. I'm sorry, I overtalked.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, I think it's and let me just say this, you know, I have met some people that are household names that are decent people, that understand how to treat people with dignity and respect. You know, I'll tell you, you know, like I don't know, like I can name names on that side of it. Like, before Wendy went downhill, I enjoy talking to Wendy Williams. I love going to her show. She was always gracious and graceful and
Yeah.
kind and decent. You know, Charlemagne, I've known him for a while. He's
Yeah.
always been decent. You know, and I had good conversations with Ice Cube and stuff like that. And so not every celebrity is kind of in outer space like that.
No.
But I can say that just, you know, if you just to pick another name, like talking to Kanye was just frustrating as shit.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, what do I do with a person who literally thinks he's more important than Jesus? It's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm important too. We're all important. We're all human beings.
Yeah.
Like what is going on here? You know, and I think I felt like I was in a pissing contest. You know,
Yeah.
like who's going to be the alpha male in this conversation? Well,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm sure as fuck not a beta. I'm not gonna. You know, I'm not gonna let you just punk me. Like I don't know what kind of combo you thought this was, but at the same time, it was like, can't we get past that? You know, and so what I find is like I really enjoy working with regular people much more than I enjoy working with celebrities because it's a
Right.
roll of the dice to know what kind of ego you're getting. And I think that with celebrities, what's interesting too, one of the most dangerous people in the world is a powerful person who has a some sort of harmful or disgusting vice, right?
Yeah.
You know, like you think about Bill Cosby. Diddy's becoming the new Bill Cosby. That's what they're
Yeah.
labeling him as. That's what he's becoming publicly. Is that true? It's up to you to decide. But that's what he's being branded as right now. He's being branded as this dirty old man. You know, he's not cool and all that. I guess he thought he could be young and cool forever. Kind of have that Peter Pan thing going on, but he's not. He's not the hood Peter Pan. He's the dirty old man now. That's how they're labeling him. And the thing about that to me is like when you look at Cosby again, and I defended Cosby in the sense that I think that you need to have evidence before you destroy somebody. I still feel that way, but I don't sit here and pretend, make an illusion of believing that Cosby didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that what happens is that, especially with men, like the four vices that tend to ruin men are sex, drugs, alcohol, gambling. Those tend to be the four things that destroy men. So if you have a powerful man who has almost like a hypnotic effect over women, can tell other people what to do, who has an infinite supply of money, and then also does not have any sort of a spiritual guardrail,
Yes.
you know, to define boundaries of acceptable behavior, that man becomes very dangerous because think about this. This is a man who literally can go to any city he wants and find a new woman that will have sex with him. So next thing you know, you get an Easy E super spreader. I got STDs all over the place. I'm going to give them to 10,000 women because I got 10,000 women that want to have sex with me or whatever, because they're all enamored with the fantasy of being with me. And so this is why I would say to anybody who's got fantasies about other human beings, that can make you irrational or unconscious about what you're giving away, be really careful, because there are celebrity predators who literally go from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And they know that if they get done with you, they got somebody else waiting in the wings. And we can't, and this to me is where Black people get in trouble, because we love celebrities. We love the shit out of a damn celebrity. White people put you on TV, we think you Jesus and God all wrapped up in one. And you know, or the pastors, you got the pastor at the front of the church. Half these damn pastors, you know, a bunch of these pastors out here bending over, taking it up the butt. You know, like a lot of them are, you know, but yet you got these women that are like, oh my God, Pastor so-and-so, you know, so you just have to be careful about that, because people will exploit your vulnerabilities. They will exploit your insecurities. What do you think?
They will. And they sense it. Like you said, they're predators. They know this, right? So with and coming back to Diddy, you know, I think women, after a while, women got boring, or maybe, you know, and then he went to men, or maybe he just always had an affinity for men. But I do, obviously this young man is saying that he got taken advantage of. There was times when, you know, he would go to a nightclub with a hat on to solicit, you know, sex workers for Diddy. And that's how people
Wait,
knew.
so you're saying that he would wear a bad boy's hat, and the bad boy's hat was like a signal.
Yes.
Daddy Diddy's in town.
Daddy Diddy's in town. In certain Miami nightclubs, he would go in there with a bad boy's hat on. Yes. And that would signal to the sex workers that Diddy was in town and that he was looking for fun.
Looking for fun.
That's so deep.
Looking for fun in all the wrong places. Beyonce can sing country. I can too.
It's like there's so many things going on in plain sight that us regular folk are just missing. Because I would have walked, you know, like I would have just never thought that that there was like a whole system and a whole secret thing happening. But
yeah, the world is a weird, nasty place, and I just think that as they drain the swamp of that which we call hip hop, it's going to lead to a lot of messiness, and I just talked to D1 today. He's about to go on the Breakfast Club, and I love talking to him because I feel like artists like him are helping to kind of help drain that swamp a little bit and make hip hop what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I think that Diddy, as much as I feel like Diddy deserves a fair trial and everything else, his era is over. It's time for him to go off into the sunset and become the old legend or whatever it is that he's going to end up becoming. And really, we need a new era of hip hop. Diddy, to me, is a problem in the sense that he was part of that movement in the 90s that made hip hop into the messy thing that it is now. And I think that it came from the top down. Like, remember, he had that closeness with Harrell and Clive Davis and just these people that I feel were bringing just a high level of debauchery into this powerful genre, this beautiful, powerful genre that Black people created. They turned it into something that is damn near fucking borderline satanic. It's weird.
yeah,
It's like just off the chain, like, oh, just what the hell is this? And I just think as Black people, we deserve better than that. So as much as I hope Diddy, figures it all out, I would say anybody who's interested in wealth needs to pay attention to what's happening here, because here you have a guy who has worked his butt off for 30 years. In between all the dancing and the sexing, he was also working. Diddy was a very hard worker.
yeah,
But all that 30 years of work could easily go down the drain because there wasn't any sort of discipline or guardrails in terms of thinking carefully about what he was doing with his body. And I just kind of think that that's a problem. This man appears to have a lot of demons, a lot of bad stuff. Big trail of, going all the way back to Tupac. Remember, people still think he was connected to Tupac's death. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I just would say that there's a lesson. There's a big financial lesson in this, and I hope everybody can see it. So Tiara, let me give your website address one more time, and I'll let you get the last word.
Okay.
Everybody, I'm speaking to Tiara KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood. Tiara runs Real Virtual, which will help you get that business or side hustle either off the ground or help you grow it. If you want to meet with her team, you can meet for free. Just go to realvirtual.net, REEL virtual.net. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify and look up Boyce Watkins or Apple, look me up, hit the follow button, and you will get content every single day on Spotify. And we also do financial consciousness training every morning at 10 a.m. If you want to join us for that. And last but not least, if you want to join us for Powernomics training, text the word greatness to 87948, and I'll send you a free link to join us for Powernomics training, which is going to be Wednesday night. So just text the word greatness to 87948. All right. So Tiara, what say you? What's your last word as far as Diddy? Where do you think this is going to go? Do you think is Diddy done?
Yeah, I think Diddy is done. Diddy is going off into the darkness. Diddy will be in the cell next to R. Kelly, unfortunately. All of the maybe. I just think, like, as I'm seeing things and the way they're happening, I just can kind of see it. Either he's gonna go broke first and go crazy, or he's going to jail. I mean, there can't be anything that good that comes out of gang raping a 17-year-old. You know what I mean? So I do think what I pray though for Diddy is that the people that have, what I pray for the victims of Diddy is that they can find their healing. Whatever has been done, and I'm talking about the people that are telling the truth. The people, like, not the people that are looking for a payday, because I know there's a difference. But I do pray that they find some type of healing. I know that type of trauma, it can be hard to want something so bad and to feel like you have to kind of sacrifice yourself for it, or you get yourself in a situation and you're like, okay, I guess I got to roll with it. I'm young and I want to be in this industry and I want the accolades. I want the Grammy. Lil Rod, this young guy, obviously he wanted to be in that crowd and wanted to stay in that crowd. And unfortunately, he kind of had to pay with his dignity and, like his esteem. And he said that he's forever changed from that experience. And I can imagine having to do all that and have sex with sex workers. And, I think there was something in the article said that he had to, like, videograph, he had to give video of Diddy in the shower, and One of the ladies was like, well, yeah, that's just, Mr. Combs saying that he likes you. Like little stuff like that. It's just like, what? All the people that kind of just kept him safe and kept him protected, even though they were doing these dark things. And so, I just prayed for Lil Rod tonight and all the victims of Diddy, the ones that are telling the truth, and Diddy himself, like you said, that he can find God or something in this moment, and really just heal himself from whatever he's been hurting from that has made him hurt other people.
Yeah, I think I agree with I hear what you said for sure, and I acknowledge it and respect it completely. But I'm gonna take a slightly different take on that and say
Okay.
that we have choices in our lives, and for every Little Rod or Cassie who did what Diddy told them to do, there's a lot of people who said no. And as much as we can say, well, no, Diddy had a gun, Diddy was going to do this and going to do that, so he made us do it. I guess if you can prove that, then that makes sense. But I do think the evidence matters, and I think there's a difference between somebody who does something because they think they're going to die versus somebody who does something because they think they're going to lose a job. And I only say that because I just think about like my experience with Kanye. He wanted me to do something for him, and I told him to fuck off. I just said I'm not doing that. That's not consistent with what I don't see any reason. I don't work for you, and I don't understand why we can't do that. I could have done that 25 years ago too. I could have done that as a broke graduate student. I did that as a broke graduate student, except I was saying it to the white man. You want me to do this? I'm not going to do it. So I'm not saying that there's not merit to this conversation, but I think you're going down a rabbit hole when a grown ass person can willfully choose to do something and then say, well, the only reason I did it was because a person that threatened to take something away from me if I didn't go along with the program. Like I could literally say, I love my wife. She's a beautiful woman. I could literally go out and rob a bank and say that my wife told me that if I didn't rob a bank, she was going to leave me and it would have broke my heart and I would have been sad. So I did it because I felt like I had to, because she's got power. Her beauty had power over me. And I just couldn't imagine living without my wife. I could not sue her for that. I could not say I did. I don't think there's anything I could really do that, especially without evidence, that would be a criminal act or a heinous act where I can turn around and say somebody made me do it. That is a privilege that's typically reserved for either women or maybe in this case it's a gay man, right? With Lil Rod, but maybe he's not gay. Maybe he just went along with it. I have no idea. But still, though, I kind of think that that's a little bit much. I think that we have to figure out like where's the line. What did you have to prove? If you chose to do something, there's too many people out here that won't take accountability for the bad things they do, but they want to take full accountability for the good things they do. They don't take accountability for their failures. Their failures are always somebody else's fault, but their success is, look at me, I did it. Look at me. Look at me, girlfriend, hear me roar. Well, look, if you're going to take responsibility for your successes, then you should take responsibility for your failures. If you're taking accountability for your good choices, then you have to take accountability for your bad. Why is that logic just so hard for people to appreciate? Why is it that people get offended when someone talks that way?
I think that you have to look at the way somebody was up for, one of my favorite things to talk about is trauma. And I think that, when you're talking about Cassie, who grew up a certain way or, was young and she had her own demons that she was fighting and kind of was like manipulated. I'm not saying that you're absolutely right. And that in any situation would be the situation. If somebody was strong and healed and balanced, yes. But I think if you have someone who already struggles with self-esteem, they struggle with self-worth, they're people pleasers, they, like people, or they sacrifice themselves for the pleasure of other people. I could see somebody that's weak-minded being caught up in a situation, even if they didn't want to do it. It's just like, well, okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give you head or whatever. If they're not strong and they don't have any boundaries, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if they lack boundaries and they lack, certain things, they may find themselves doing things that they wouldn't do if they were healed.
I completely get that. I think that's a perfect explanation. And I think that the question I end up asking is, does having weak boundaries give just automatically make you a victim in every bad choice that you make? Like if I say,
No.
right, if I say, well, the reason I went and robbed a bank today is because I am a drug addict and the drugs were calling me. I literally felt like if I didn't get heroin, I was going to die. So I went to the bank and I shot the teller and I robbed the bank because I needed heroin. Heroin has a lot of power. If you've seen a heroin addicts, they really, really go through it when they're trying to get away from the drug. So why would it not be the case that somebody who says I was on drugs can go murder somebody, rob somebody, or do whatever and just be let go scot-free because it's obviously not their fault because there's something very powerful that's forcing them to do this?
No, I think predators look for people that they can prey on, right? Like
Right.
I've been in I've hung out with R. Kelly numerous times, right? R. Kelly ain't never tried to pee on me ever. He never has. He never was like, let me take you home. He was always like, listen, I see y'all on y'all grind. You got to get it going. Here's what you should do. Here's how. And we would be like, okay, cool. We got you, Robert. It wasn't like, but there were girls around. I say this all the time. There were girls around that were just like living in wherever La La Land, thinking like, okay, I would rather be here with him and having to do all these things than to be in poverty. This is way better than Kansas, right? Me being in LA. So I'm just saying, like, I think there's a certain kind of person that people like Diddy and R. Kelly and those strong personalities prey on. And so that's just what it is.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I get everything you're saying, and I don't want it to sound like I'm insensitive to people that have been victimized. I mean, I would say that Diddy, being the powerful person that he has the power to control his environment in ways other people do not. But I would encourage everybody else, though, you got to grow some self esteem. If you go into different spaces, no matter what it is, if you even if you're talking about your teenage child and they get around somebody, a girl that they like, and the boy is scared because the girl has a lot of power. A beautiful woman has a lot of power over a man. That's women's beauty is powerful. Sex is powerful. All these things we act like women are not powerful. Women can be powerful too. Let's stop acting like men are the only ones who can do this. So I could easily say, well, the only reason I did this, and this, I skipped school, robbed a bank, crashed my car, and gave away my money because the girl's beauty was so powerful that I was afraid she was going to leave me, and I would have been devastated, and it would have been embarrassing if she dumped me or whatever. And that's why I did those things. I've never been allowed that luxury of saying that someone else's power made me do something that I should not be doing. And you're talking about a guy who was broke. There was times where there was a lady, did I ever tell you that funny story where the white lady came to my job? I was working at Hardee's when I was 18 and I had no money. And this white lady kept coming through the drive-thru and talking to me. It was like a 45-year-old white lady. So in my 18-year-old mind, it was like talking to my grandma or something. But this lady was like, she kept coming. I was like, why is this lady coming to the drive-thru and just sitting there? And she literally was like, I just want to stare at you. I just want to watch you make your cheeseburger. Yeah, she was really like coming
she
up like,
you.
And I was like, I said, what is this? What does this lady want with me? And the guy said, yeah, she wants to have sex with you. He said, just go ahead. He said, just go have sex with her and she'll give you $40 or something. And then you'll have some money. And of course, after I stopped myself from vomiting, I was like, no. I was like, get your nasty ass up out of here. And I said this as a broke man, So what if I went ahead and did that? What if I was like, you know what? Let me go home with this, this decrepit old lady. And let me go give her a night she'll never forget. I can't come back and say that she manipulated me into it. Again, maybe some people would. Maybe some people would give me that license. They'd say, "Oh, she took advantage of you, you poor little 18-year-old kid." No, I was a grown ass man, and even then, I knew I got a choice. Right? It was a hard choice, but it was a choice. I could have had an extra $40 that night if I played my cards right. So I think it's important, just as a general rule, especially if you talk about raising kids and all that. You got to let them know they got a choice. And you got to let them know, this is why I think the breakdown of the family is such a terrible thing for the Black community, because a lot of these girls that get exploited by these pimp ass Negroes, they don't have a daddy at home that they can depend on. Girls that have a strong daddy that they can always call if they get in trouble or have a difficult situation, they are far less likely to be exploited by these weak ass men who will pimp the hell out of a weak-minded woman. So, so we got to raise the girls to be smart and strong. And then also, I think that family structure that comes in handy when you have to make those hard choices, right? So again, I say this, and I know that maybe some of my words might have offended some people, and I can't apologize for that because I'm just telling you the truth. But I think that as we sort of navigate all this and understand this as an economic lesson, as a life lesson, just know you always have a choice. You don't have to bow to the white man. You ain't got to bow to Diddy. You ain't got to bow to the bully. You can live your purpose and be safe and be good, but you got to make sure you work on self-love. These celebrities are not more important than you. That's the lesson I want everybody to get. All right, so Tiara, any final thoughts before I let you go? I know I said that earlier, but really I'm saying it for real this time.
I love that. Don't be desperate. Just don't be desperate. Don't be thirsty.
Don't be no hoe. Go ahead.
Don't be no hoe. Don't do that. Like, trust that your life is gonna work out and you are where you're supposed to be when you're there. And you don't need Diddy, or like you said, like you don't need anyone to validate you. Your life is gonna work out the way it's supposed to.
Yes.
Take the slow road.
Yes.
Some people, we want to take like we want to take the fast track. The fast track will have you out on Figueroa. Like the fast track will have you out like doing things like literally hoeing yourself out. Don't do that. Just
fast anything. Usually when something's fast, that ain't quality. Like that fast money, that fast life, that will send you in a ditch real fast. So just be mindful of that. All right. So everybody, this is Tiara KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood. That is her Instagram if you guys want to follow her on the gram. Also, her website is realvirtual.net. If you have a business or side hustle, you want to get off the ground, inflation is high. It's hard to make it by with one income, with one job. Get you a side hustle, get you a business, get together with your friends, figure it out, do a consultation. The URL is realvirtual.net, REL virtual.net. The consultations are totally free, and they can talk you through what your next move is going to be, and it will be free of charge. So realvirtual.net, that's the URL. Also, last but not least, tomorrow, my wife and I are going to do the Love and Money Lab, where every Tuesday we get together and she brings together her her doctorate in social work and her experience in therapy, and in relationship therapy in particular, and I bring my PhD in finance, and we talk about relationships and money. So the way to be invited, if you'd like to join, is text the word love to 87948. Text love to 87948. I'll send you a free copy of my book, Financial Lovemaking. Also, I'll send you a link to join us for the Love and Money Lab tomorrow. And also, what's her Instagram? Her Instagram is Miss Black Hollywood, MS Black Hollywood. Her website is realvirtual.net, REEL virtual.net. And she's also going to be at the Black Stock Options Summit that we're hosting in LA, April 19th. So I'll send you guys a link to join us. If you want to get a link to the Stock Options Summit because you want to learn about stock options as a way to make extra money, just text the word money to 87948. So 87948 is the main number. Write that number down, and I'll just give you different words so you can get different information from the Black Business School. We got you 100%. So thank you very much, T. It was great to see you.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed all of you tonight.
Yes. And you guys have a good night. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out if you could. And also don't forget to go to Spotify, look up my name, and hit the follow button. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.
Bye.